The Glastonbury Festival is back this weekend to celebrate its 50th year after 2 years of COVID-related delays.
Fans descended onto the legendary Worthy Farm in Somerset this week, despite travel chaos and rail strikes, to witness the likes of Kendrick Lamar and Sir Paul McCartney perform some of their classic hits.
Well, talking of legendary, we are delighted to say that we're now joined by former lead guitarist and I'd say one of the best guitarists in the world, part of Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora. Thank you, to talk all things Glastonbury. But what I want to say, Richie, you've performed at Madison Square Garden, you've performed at the O2 Arena, the Hollywood Bowl, Wembley Stadium, and also Glastonbury. So what's the appeal of Glastonbury?
Well, just first of all, it's been running now, what, 50 years? And it's just basically it's a festival of peace. It's turned into a lovely event for families, you know. And over the years now, I'm sure it becomes we're going to go to Glastonbury every year. It's fantastic, you know. And if you're a musician, we love to play live, you know. And interesting story is that I played Glastonbury one time because since 1988 I was doing stadiums with Bon Jovi all over the world, and we didn't have a chance to do it. And there was a day that I had off, and I got called by Dolly Parton, and she had done one of my songs on her album, and she said, "Would you come and play Glastonbury with me?" And it was a tremendous experience. Is it like 200,000 people there, and God knows how many people are going to watch on TV. It's very historical. You know,
now, Richie,
a lot of fun.
You just said there, I couldn't believe it, we've got a rock and roll legend, and what you're saying about Glastonbury is it's gone all family. Isn't that wonderful? What's this about? I'm expecting you to, be all guitar and sort of ladies, not sort of family
besides that,
picnics.
then you have the talent, like I'm honored to say that Paul McCartney is headlining this evening, I think, and he's my friend. And if I was going, I would love to see Billie Eilish and Robert Plant and Kendrick Lamar, obviously, and Herbie Hancock. I mean, it's an amazing array of artists, and it's just a wonderful show. And what's going on in the world today, obviously, with the uncertainty of war and pandemic and all of that, and inflation and things like that. This is a big relief. And I think that the 2 years that it hasn't been running, I think there's a large amount of anticipation. And I'm sure it's going to be an amazing couple of days.
And you're right there. Music does, sing to the soul. And after such, terrible things happening in the world, we absolutely do need that music. And I want to live in on a prayer. I think most of us are living on a prayer at the moment. And you sort of co-wrote this. How do you write a song like that?
Yes, I'm very proud of that. You know what? It is a story. And I think the reason that song was such a big song is that everybody has been in that place where, of uncertainty, trying to make it in this world. And that's basically what the song is about. I think everyone is living on a prayer at this moment. I think I really, me and my cohort struck a nerve on that one, writing that song. It always makes people very, very happy.
Yeah, Richie, I mean, you co-wrote that with John Bon Jovi and Desmond Child, along with You Give Love a Bad Name. One thing I always ask, I like to ask people in your situation is, when you wrote those songs, did you know the moment you'd finished them that they were hit songs? Or did they surprise you?
Actually, those two that you mentioned came, at a time where we were touring for about 3 years, and we were kind of opening up for other bands and playing our own theater shows and stuff like that on the days off. But then when we recorded Slippery When Wet, and those songs kind of just happened, and Wanted Dead or Alive. But Prayer especially, it became everybody's anthem, because we've all been there. Or, maybe, you're not having the best time, but you're working hard together, and there's a joy in that. And it was depicted through music, and I think I've played that song now about 15,000 times, and every time... the thing that makes it great, if you ask me, like, okay, do I come back to my hotel room and I play that particular song? I would say no. The thing that makes it important is the interaction of the audience and the band together. And I think that's, rock and roll is a contact sport. You know what I mean? And you get a lot of contact at Glastonbury. I know that when Dolly called me up to play, it was just fantastic. It was the first time I actually was there. I've obviously watched it many, many times, but it was awesome.
And a contact sport, and that's a big contact sport when there's 200,000 people singing your words back
and
to
then
you.
You have millions of people watching on TV, And now with the advent of social media and everything like that, these things live on forever. And that's a beautiful thing. And you know what else? It's peaceful. It's a peaceful gathering of a lot of people. And I think that it's very, very welcome right now in what's going on with the world, obviously.
But
Music is a healer. Music is a healer.
I'll never get to sing, luckily, thankfully, in front of 200,000 people. But are you ever nervous? I mean, what are you thinking? Is it just adoration and love, or are you nervous, or do you worry about the gigs? What do you think?
I think when you have good songs that connect with people, and I think that's one of the fortes of what Bon Jovi did, and what I try to do as a solo artist also, is basically connect with your audience about what you're feeling and what you've been through in your life, and we live in the human condition together, and we have more in common than not, So Glastonbury is a definite. It goes to show you.
And, I don't know if it was a surprise when you performed with Dolly Parton, probably a surprise maybe for everybody in the audience. Have you got any surprise performances you want to tell us about that we can break the news to the world about?
Well, you know what? It's interesting because, I like to play with everyone. And everyone calls me up to play, whether it's, Paul or Nile Rodgers or Elton John, or the list goes on. And Eric Clapton, Buddy Guy, or it's a joyous experience to be able to share that. And I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to have the honor to play with the likes of those people. And also one of my favourite women, Cher. You've performed and dated Cher. We lived together for 2 years, and I wrote a couple of hits for her too, and we played together all the time. That was a great experience too. She's a great lady.
Richie Sambora, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You are a true legend in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much, man.
And I also know that
it's a pleasure to join you. Thanks
you
for
do a
having
lot
me.
of charity fundraising as well, I know, behind the scenes. So thank you for all that you do in that regard as well. Thank you very much.
Oh, man, thank you guys.
Oh, real pleasure. See, true rock legend, and what an amazingly lovely man.
Absolutely.